Hi, my name is Corey Minter, and I'm the president of Trinity Employment Specialists. And Trinity is a staffing firm, and in the last 2 or 3 years, we began focusing on industrial staffing. And what we did in industrial staffing is we began applying the exact same principles that we had for the medical field over the last 12 years, almost 13 years now, that's made us one of the top staffing firms and the most reviewed staffing firms in the entire state of Oklahoma. And what we've done is we put the same level of quality into our industrial staffing. Well, what this did is all of the people that had hired industrial staffing firms in the past were used to just sending bodies out. And we put the same kind of importance and intentional importance on quality over quantity. And now, industrial staffing is half our business. We've done this in 2 years. And so people are really catching on to this, and we get referred out and out more and more. And so it's something that we've been focusing on. Today I'm going to talk about something that's really interesting. I read a book like 20 years ago, and it was by a guy named Stephen Covey, and he wrote a book called 7 Habits of Highly Influential People. And I even brought it up the other day, but it reminded me that I needed to read this book again. So I went through and started reading it again, and what I realized is there is some really fundamental, exceptional advice for people for your career in these 7 habits. And so I just want to share with you that in my journey to building Trinity and just achieving my own journey of success, every step of the way I've had to learn these principles and incorporate them not just into my personal life with my wife and my family and my children, but also with my career. And it is very, very true. I mean, this is no joke. These are some really great tidbits. So I'm going to share them with you. Number 1 is to be proactive. To be successful in your career, you must be proactive in defining what you achieve. Listen, when you get around other people, they are either going to know you as a proactive person or a reactive person, or you're just trying to scrounge around and get by. But not only that, even in business for me, like if you are not proactive and always looking at what's ahead and always trying to be ahead of the curve and not waiting for things to happen to you to react, the world's going to pass you by, especially with technology. I mean, even in our industry right now, everything is changing. You have to, and technology is one of the main drivers of it. But if you're not proactive, you're going to get left behind. Kodak created the very first digital image, and guess what they did? They were like, man, who would want this? This is distorted, and let's sell this technology. Let's get this out of here. And that's exactly what they did. They had the digital photography. They had the patent and everything on it. And they sold it. Where's Kodak? They're out of business. You have to be proactive, but you've also got to be a proactive person. People around you are going to know you as proactive or reactive, and it really truly defines you. And this action really sets you ahead of probably 3/4 of everyone else out there that's working. And so just being proactive is really super important, but you've always got to be thinking ahead and try to do more than the people around you. I mean, that's just a true statement. The next thing is begin with the end in mind. I shared this a couple of weeks ago, and the guy that shoots these videos for me, we had a conversation about it just right after it. And the idea behind this start with the end in mind, Stephen Covey gave a scenario of imagine your funeral, and imagine, you can see everyone's there. Imagine before people go on to speak about you. Are they coming up with things that are easy to talk about? Are they coming up with, is it hard for them to come up with good things to talk about? What are people thinking about you? Are they thinking really good things? What are the conversations happening in the background? And so the idea behind it is that you need to now live the life to where it would urge people to say things that you would want to be said at your funeral. But right now is the time to begin working on that. You start with the end in mind. I want people to say this about me. So right now, I'm going to be doing these activities so they do say this. It's really important. So in your career, you have to be, you set, all right, this is what I want to become over here. And then right now, you begin doing activities to get you there. So if you want to be a CEO, well, you need to be reading books, getting around other people that are CEOs, asking questions, thinking about, understanding the whole business, not just your role. You need to begin to put in the efforts to become a CEO. Think of the end first. Where is it you want to go? Put in the effort to get you there. Now, most people drastically overestimate what they can do in a year, but they drastically underestimate what they can do in 10. It's really important to put in the work now because you'll never know where that can lead you if you do it. Number 3, put the first things first. At the very beginning of the day, this is something that I learned a long time ago. I will procrastinate the things I don't want to do, and I'll do it every day. And many years ago, my assistant told me because I was the president of the company, CEO of the company, I got to, if I didn't want to do that thing that day, I could just push it over to the next day. And over time, I kept doing this, and I had this list this long, and she just said, you do this every day, and these things are important, but you're not doing them. And in her way of making fun of me, I really got back and started thinking about it, and I was like, man, if I'd just done it, this would be over with. This monkey's been on my back for so long. So here's the idea. Those things that cause you caution, they're frustrating for you, do those things first. Every single day. Do those things first, get them knocked out. Guess what? You don't have to worry about them. The one thing that was really weird, the thing that I thought I would be worried about afterward, it wasn't nearly as bad as what I thought it was going to be. It only took 2 or 3 minutes anyway, most of these tasks, and I got them all knocked out in a day. And guess what? I didn't have to think about them anymore. If you will create a regular pattern of doing this, you'll get some really important things in your life knocked out rather than procrastinated or sometimes forgotten. Because most people don't keep a calendar or a checklist of the things they didn't get done that day like I did. I had 20 or 30 over 2 or 3 weeks. Don't let that happen to you. I'll do one more and then we'll wrap up. Think win-win. This habit is so very important. What most people do is they think of themselves first. They're like, all right, how can I get what I want out of this situation? But what the very most successful people do is they look at it from the other person's perspective and go, all right, what is it that they want? And is there anything that I can give them so we can make this a good deal? Most great deals come where both parties get a little bit about what they want. And this is a huge mistake. A lot of younger go-getters or younger successful people, man, they will only look at what is in this for me. Let me get what I want. And in fact, if they get a huge deal for themselves, they'll go brag about it. Man, I crushed that one. I got everything I wanted. I gave them nothing. And guess what happens a little bit down the road when you might need something from one of those guys and you crushed them in a deal? Man, it doesn't matter if you're in Dallas or in Tulsa or wherever you're at. This town is a small town, and you got to keep those things in mind. But always think win-win. Never leave a deal unless you feel like you've let that guy win a little bit, unless he's a complete and total jerk, and then you can go and crush him. If Trinity can help you in any way, especially with industrial staffing, we would love to be a resource for you. We'd love for you to go check out our website at trinityemployment.com. There's all of our jobs are on there. You'll find 20 or 30 just industrial jobs right now, and a lot of great advice and tips as well. Or if you just want to give us a call at 918-622-2588.